second of your 10-minute workouts. We're going to be on the mat, doing quite a lot of mat work and core work, and but we'll first of all start with our spinal hygiene, activating our central nervous system. So with yes, no, maybe, coming round to the left, down your legs, and then to the floor. So the yes, it's about the movement, not about how far you can move. So the yes is tilting the head forward, so chin onto chest, coming back up, and now going backwards and coming back to the centre. I'm now moving across to the left. Just feel what that is, a little bit of tension there for me. And now I'm moving across to my right and back to the centre. I'm now going to have the kind of what I still feel like a stretch from the point of view of tilting my head to one side. Just feels really nice all the way through there, and back to the centre and over to the other side and back to the centre. You can hold these poses for about 10 to 20 seconds, but just doing something is better than nothing. I'm now going to imagine my hips are going to be facing forward. I've got a beach ball in front of me, and I'm following that beach ball round as I rotate my torso round to the left, shoulders in their socket, breathing, coming back to the centre, now round to the right and back to the centre. And now I'm going to imagine I'm between two panes of glass. I'm sliding my left hand down my left leg, keeping my top shoulder down, and back to the centre, and down my right leg and back to the centre. Now going to be going down to the floor, touching the mat. I'm stepping forward with my left foot, my right hand goes on top of my left hand, and I'm sliding all the way down to the floor. Soft knees, so you can get all the way down, chin tucked into chest, and coming up, and then lifting the chin up. Chin is always the last thing that lifts up, so that you can be you're not feeling lightheaded. I'm stepping forward with my right foot, my left hand goes on top of my right hand, and I'm just sliding all the way down my legs, slowly, soft knees, down to the floor, touching the floor, chin tucked into chest, and slowly coming up. So as I say, that if that's the minimum that you've got time for, 2 or 3 minutes, then just do spinal hygiene. Really wakes you up. So we're now going to get down onto the floor, and we're going to do a bridge first, and then we're going to do floating the leg. So in respect to the bridge, we are going to be lying on, I'm lying on my back. Now zipping up is from the point of view of from the coccyx all the way around to the front. So before I do any movement, I'm going to be zipping up, and I'm going to be squeezing the glutes and coming up into the bridge. So I'm squeeze. Now that could look like the top of the movement, but if I give an extra squeeze, there's about that much more that I can do and ask for. I'm now going to extend my right leg out, and it's just extension from the knee, and now I'm going to lower my back down, kind of one vertebrae at a time, sort of slowly unzip, lower leg down. So zipping up, squeeze from the point of view of the bridge movement. Remember that extra little bit, extra squeeze. And now I'm extending my left leg from my knee out, so my knees are actually still level, and then I'm just lowering down my back. So starting from the point of view of the top of the spine, coming down and lowering, unzipping, lifting a leg down. So we're going to do that once more each side. So zipping up, squeezing with the glutes, extra squeeze, extend out the leg and lower down through, slowly and lifting down. Okay, squeezing again, zipped up, squeeze, extra squeeze, extend, making sure you're still squeezing nicely, and then lowering down, kind of the back one vertebrae at a time, and lowering down. So there's a lot going on in that respect. And now we're going to do floating a leg. So I've got knees bent and lying on my back. Shoulder blades are in the socket. Forgot to tell you that, keeping your shoulder blades in the socket. When you're working your abs, sometimes there's a tendency for the shoulders to come up. Keep them down. You're going to imagine you're on a piece of paper, and when you touch down, you don't want to make any indent in the paper with either foot. So I'm zipping up, I'm floating my right leg up. My pelvis is really solid into the mat, really, really hard. Now, as I come down, keeping that pelvis hard into the mat, I'm going to just touch very gently so I can feel the ground, but now I'm going to lift my left. My pelvis is really strong and stable, and I'm now going to lower down with my left. Again, keep that pelvis into the mat and relax and unzip. So let's do that again. I'm going to start with my left leg this time, just to give a bit of variety. So I'm zipping up, I'm floating my leg up, my pelvis is really flat and strong, as if I'm crushing my fingers into the mat if they were underneath me. As I float my leg down, I'm just touching before I then float my right leg up, breathing as well, shoulder blades in the socket, and now I'm just going to float my right leg down, not making any indent in that paper until I now relax. So that is floating the leg up, and it's a really good way of working your deep abs. We're now going to do dead bug. So again, getting those abs, they're having a good old workout today. I'm lying on my back, my arms, just need to reposition myself a little bit. My arms are up facing the ceiling or facing the sky if you're outside. When I float one arm back, the one arm that's still facing the ceiling stays facing the ceiling. So I'm going to zip up, I'm going to lift both my legs up, so this is the dead bug position, and now I'm very slowly going to float my left arm back and extend my right leg out, and I'm going to allow my right leg to touch the floor to kind of create that sort of bit of sense of stability. Still zipped up, pelvis solid to the floor, and I'm coming back up again. Breathing, 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 breathing. Now I'm going to float my right arm back as my left leg extends out, pelvis to the floor, making sure there's no lifting, and then coming back up. So get that breath in. If that's enough, then stop now. We're going to do one more each side. If you need to just put the feet down, unzip to re-zip and get a better technique, please do so. So I'm now re-zipping, I've lifted my legs, and I'm going to float my left arm back with my right leg extending right out. Breathing, 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 and slowly coming up. And more breath. Really get that breath in, and I'm extending my right arm back. My left arm is staying still, my left leg is extending out, and I'm coming back up. Pelvis is strong to the floor, and now I'm just going to drop my feet down carefully, and that is a couple of dead bugs each side. So that is the dead bug. We are now going to do some cycling, and we're going to keep one foot on the floor. So with the cycling, we are going to imagine we're painting the ceiling, painting the far wall, and painting the floor. You are zipping up first, so it's a really big slow movement. So I'm painting the ceiling now. I'm now going to paint the wall. I've got a massive extension here from the point of view from the hip, so it's out straight like it was from a dead bug, skimming along the floor just above and making circles. So it's at that point, this is really having to keep the pelvis on the floor and solid to the floor. So big circles. The slower you go, the harder it is. So we're going to do one more this side. So I'm now going to paint the wall and skim in and unzipping. So I'm now going to do that the other side. So my right foot is staying on the floor. Lifted up with my left, and I'm now doing that big cycle, big stretch, skimming along the floor and round, keeping that pelvis really solid, making sure you're breathing. So kind of when you want to get the pelvis so that it's right into the mat, sometimes we can hold our breath. So just be aware of what's going on from the breath point of view. If we hold our breath, it creates tension. I'm just going to do one more, and down. And then just very quickly to finish, just for a minute, because we're a little bit over from a 10 minutes. So this is about 10 minutes now, 10.5 minutes. So zipping up, coming up, I'm going to move my knees over to the right as my arms go to the left. I'm not touching down on the far side. And then I'm coming slowly, slowly, slowly back. I'm stopping from the midpoint before I then put my eyes to the right and my legs to the left. Again, I'm not going to touch down. I'm going to go as far as I can before I'm then lifting up. So it's all this ab work, coming back to the centre and down. And that is the end of your second 10 minutes, or should I say 11 today, workout. Thank you very much for watching.